Hello, good people of the universe, and apologies for being offline for so long. I think it's been a couple of weeks. I've actually been, been feeling somewhat low, which is largely why I didn't record anything for at least a week. And I told my wife and youngest daughter that I was feeling kind of low, and they said, "Hey, Dad, maybe you need to get out of the basement. You're not getting really enough sunlight." Okay, maybe you're right. So I've evicted myself from the basement, moved myself upstairs, and now I need to get back online. And my mind's a jumble of thoughts this morning. I got all sorts of things flying around in my head, so I don't know how this is going to go. I saw one video on YouTube, I guess 3-4 weeks ago, called "Keep Fear Alive." Well, I think "Keep Fear Alive" is in the title, and it's a very short clip, only about 1 minute long, I think, interviewing a FBI deputy director or assistant deputy director or something like that, talking about the problems faced by civil servants of all stripes, but certainly in the FBI, if they want their budget to be approved for another year. The worst thing to do is to declare victory. In his case, it was to declare that terrorism has been eradicated. You don't want to do that because then your budget gets chopped. And so what he says is what he has to make sure he does is keep fear alive, keep everybody really, really scared, especially the politicians, keep them scared, and then his budget gets approved. And he can keep his salary and he can go home and keep paying his mortgage and car payment. Bit disturbing, really. But that got me reflecting that that's probably a problem with just about any major movement. A couple of weeks ago, I posted a video on MGTOW, MGTOW, men going their own way. Holy cow, did I ever get an earful from that one. I've got more views and more comments on that video than all the other videos I've posted put together. And I got an earful. But it set me reflecting, combined with the Keep Fear Alive video. When you've got a movement, what's the point of the movement? One of the arrows I've got in my quiver, one thing in my skill set is requirements, system requirements. You're trying to design an aircraft, a train, a network, whatever it is. You need to know what your requirements are before you start. Otherwise, you'll just create something that nobody actually wants. And that's actually a surprisingly difficult process. Answering it, because it literally is answering the question, and that's the question I'm going to ask you today, but yourself, about any movement you're in. What do you want? It's actually a really, really important question. There's a great video, or probably a collection of videos on YouTube now, with video set to a recording of Alan Watts, where he basically asks exactly this question: what do you want? What do you desire? Surprisingly difficult question to answer. And in the Old Testament, actually, God appears to King Solomon, in a dream, and effectively asks that question. He says, "Ask for whatever you wish, and I'll give it to you." What do you want? Solomon has an answer ready in his case, and that's, I think, largely why he goes on to become such a figure of history that we still remember him. That's why I'm so fascinated with him, because he answered the question. He had an answer ready. Most of us don't. And in the case of a movement, I don't think very often they ask the question either. What do you want? What do we want? Why are we here? Why are we so upset? Why are we meeting together and conspiring and talking. And the way to know if you've actually got a mission is state what you want, how you're going to get it, and how you're going to prove that you've got it. State who your enemy is. Who's your opponent? Who are you trying to defeat? And then state how you're going to defeat them. And then state what you're going to sacrifice in order to achieve the objective, which is another way of saying get your wallet out. Define how much you're prepared to pay for it. And then agree it with all the other peers in the movement. If you can't do that, then you don't have a mission. You've just got a movement. Maybe only a philosophy. Actually, I think when I posted that video on MGTOW a few weeks ago, one of the comments said, "This is just a philosophy. We're swearing off women." That's okay, fine. So you don't have an objective then. You're just a philosophy. In fact, I think actually they do have an objective, but the objective is a rather poor one. Because their objective is keep anger alive. We're mad. We're hopping mad. Keep anger alive. Maybe. I might be wrong. I'd be happy to be corrected. But that frequently is the only requirement people have, and they can't even articulate it frequently, is keep anger alive. I don't want to achieve anything. I just want to feel powerful. I want to see somebody else hurt. I hurt, therefore I want to see everybody else hurt too. I don't want to achieve an objective. I don't want to make progress. I've given up all hope of ever making any progress. I just want to feel powerful and justified in being angry and resentful. And that, I think, largely typifies the philosophy and the thinking of people in the far left, or the radical left. The movement is entirely negative. They don't really have very clearly defined objectives that I'm aware of. And I guess I'd like to argue that for you, in whatever movement you might be espousing, or even if it's just you're thinking about yourself, is to sit back and ask the question, what is it that I want? There's no harm in defining that. We've sort of dumbed that down. You're not supposed to think that clearly about it. Don't be too demanding. Don't be greedy. If you say what you want, you're being greedy. No, you're not. You're being specific. You're being clear. You're being rational. And that's good. What do you want? Why do you want it? How are you going to get it? How are you going to know that you've got it? Otherwise, you'll never know if you've made progress, if you've achieved anything. This, I think, is the problem with a lot of people a lot of movements have, is they persist in being angry and frustrated, and they've long outlived their original purpose, if they ever had one in the first place, because they don't actually know what it is they're out to achieve. They probably achieved it long ago, and they have no idea. Most people go through life like that. So sit down and define what it is you want. Enough for one day. Kirk out.